Hello and welcome to the Comicsiracy episode 533 for the week of February 6th, 2022. My name's Ryan Higgins. Who else is here with me this week?
Miraculously, Brock Sager.
You're here. Your locks are all flowing too. You usually get the stuff in a ponytail or a hat or something like that. You're looking beautiful today, bro.
I am in the wonderful state of quarantine.
Yes, we'll talk about that in a second. Who else is here?
And less miraculously, without flowing locks, Kevin.
Kevin, welcome. Brock, you are unfortunate, have joined the never-ending growing list of recipients of the wonderful COVID virus. But you're fine. Like, totally just random.
Epitome of asymptomatic. Like, no symptoms, nothing. I don't feel anything. Like, I don't feel achy. I don't feel sick. I haven't had a fever. Nothing.
And you only know this because the school you work at tests, right? What do they test? Once a week, twice a week?
We test once a week. My daughter actually got it and gave it to me while I was taking care of her under her quarantine last week. So she had mild symptoms like runny nose, congestion.
You guys are all, cough. And she has two. She got the two shots,
the two vax. She had the double vax already. Right. She's not eligible for the booster yet. I was double vaxxed and boosted. Right. But yeah, neither one of us had fevers, nothing. So it's mainly just a pain in the ass of dealing with, the information out there is not clear and concise. I tested negative on Monday through a rapid test.
All right.
I didn't get results for my PCR test until Thursday morning.
I think that's that's when you called me.
And PCR test came back positive. So what that meant was that I had COVID, but I wasn't at that time I had COVID, but I wasn't contagious. I took a rapid test on Thursday, even though my work said I could go back to work before even taking a rapid test. That was an ordeal. And I tested positive on the rapid test. Now it wasn't like a solid boom. It was like the line was light for that part, but I tested positive. So that means that I was contagious at the time. Which they don't really explain very well, in that the PCR test tests if you have COVID. The rapid test tests for if you're in a contagious state of COVID. So you could be positive with COVID and test negative because you're not in a contagious state yet, which was my case. My daughter, when she tested, she did a rapid test and got a positive. And then when we had her tested again after 5 days, she had a negative rapid test and a positive PCR test. So it's very
quite confusing.
It's quite confusing. Like, people are like, "Oh, just go take this." I'm like, ugh.
But different results for different things.
Different results for different things, and there are different there's a different order to things, and all. Yeah, it's just chaotic. Unfortunately, I think where we were exposed was most likely during the time where I was grieving for my father. He had passed, and that was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago now. And we had gone to Reno to attempt to see him, but we missed out on that before he passed. And then we were just with family and stuff, but I think that's where we got exposed. So
it is not it's no good. It's definitely no good. Well, I'm glad you guys are fine. Hopefully you just test, and
I test tomorrow morning.
Get negative. Yeah.
Oh, I'll probably test negative, positive. I'll get a negative rapid test and a positive PCR test, and then I can't test in a pool for 90 days. So,
but like it's so weird. Like they'll be like, "Oh, it's negative with the rapid. Come back. Oh, you've been here for 2 days. Oh, you're positive. Go out. Go away."
Yeah, that's again. I think people don't realize that there are two different types of test results telling you two different things, and both of them need to be fast.
Yeah.
So yeah. Although the last person who did my test, good God, that person needs to just, oh man,
learn how to
give the test. Like I took it when my dog, like previously, and it was fine. There was no issues. It was like this person was trying to touch the back of my goddamn brain. It was like, I'm like,
well, I think in recent tests they changed that. You don't go that far in anymore.
Oh,
so
that's been that way for a while, but like whoever this person was, it's like they just went in there, and I was like, yeah, eyes watering and shit. I'm like, dude, you're so lucky I don't just punch you in the face.
And I mean, I saw you briefly, right? But I mean, again, I tested Marshall. All my employees tested it, and everyone came back negative. So like, just fucking this thing, man. What a nightmare! What an absolute nightmare.
Well, and we're at the point where it's like, who knows what's gonna happen now?
Yeah, fingers crossed. We have reached the end. Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. I love how at least on my side, our Zoom call froze with Brock doing
mine too.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Just caught up.
Mine froze with both of you kind of just staring off into the
great picture to freeze that.
Yeah.
So. We got some news to talk about this week. We got some questions. We'll get into all this.
I have a brief topic to insert.
Yeah. Well, what's that?
Well, no, we can do the news first. This is not current news.
Okay. Well, we'll start. Although this is going to be one of many lists because we're still talking about 2021 at this point. Diamond Comics released their top comic books and graphic novels by units sold for 2021. Now, of course, Diamond is no longer the majority. Is no longer the entirety of the direct market. Clearly, things are very different now. So single issue comics. Especially Marvel, for the back half of the year, were split between Penguin and Diamond. DC has gone completely. Lots of people have moved away from Diamond for book distribution, for graphic novel distribution. So, there is not we're looking specifically at Diamond Comics and what kind of, what they're still sending, which is still a lot. I mean, it is still a significant amount of stuff. They are still, a massive distributor. Just less than they were, but they still have some big books. I'm not even gonna. I wouldn't even play the guessing game with you guys unless you really wanted to. But I
mean, it's pretty much image titles.
It's not all.
Did a Marvel title sneak in there?
A bunch of Marvel titles snuck in there. Yeah. Especially for the first half of the year.
Tell us, because I'm going to hit you guys with a guessing game in a second.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Well, the list as Diamond tells it, 10-1 is Star Wars The High Republic, number 1, which I did ship, I think January. It shipped very early in 2021. Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters Alpha, number 1, X-Men, number 1, Moon Knight, number 1, Alien, number 1. Number 5 is Venom 35, which is the final issue of that book. Number 4 is Berserker, number 1. Now there's a big question mark on that one. Number 3 is Gunslinger Spawn, number 1. Number 2 is House of Slaughter, number 1 from Boom Studios, and number 1 is King Spawn, number 1 from Image Comics. Now the top 4 are interesting because the numbers reported by Boom on Berserker and House of Slaughter are significantly higher than the numbers reported from King Spawn and Gunslinger Spawn. So I don't know what the deal with that is. I don't know if they've taken out store exclusive covers. The foil covers on House of Slaughter and Berserker are not counted because they are $1 more, and Diamond does not count variant covers when they are different prices, if you remember this from previous sales charts. So I'm actually very surprised that Berserker is below House of Slaughter because I thought they said they sold something like 600,000 copies of Berserker, and I don't think House of Slaughter got that many. So I kind of question this reported list, but I would assume House of Slaughter and Berserker are actually the top 2 books of the year. When you count in those other variant covers sold. But you know, Toddy Boy needs his number 1 book of the year. So Kingspawn number 1 it is. Gotta keep Image happy.
Well,
Diamond.
what were the
Gotta
unit
keep
amounts
Image
on
happy.
those?
I understand. Diamond does not report unit numbers. Estimates come from Comicron and ICV2, and I'm sure we will get some of those in the near future. I wonder if they will disagree with this list. We'll see. For graphic novels sold, list makes a little bit more sense here. Number 10, Destroy All Monsters, which is one of the Reckless hardcovers by Edgar Baker and Sean Phillips.
That was the last one.
Number 9 is Saga, Volume 1. Number 8 is Friend of the Devil, another Reckless hardcover.
That's number 2.
Number 7 is Something is Killing the Children, Volume 3. Now, this one, I'm wondering. Number 6 was Return of Living Deadpool, which was a graphic novel from like a decade. Not a decade ago, maybe like 7-8 years ago. There's got to be a clearance list. This must have been on some pallet deal. Like, there's no reason this book would have. I mean, there's just no reason this book would have made the top 10.
There's no Deadpool movie out this year. There's no Deadpool video game. And there's no like.
I mean, it reprinted, but Marvel reprinted a ton of stuff. So like there's something with that. That is not a top 10 book. I mean, that might not even been a top 10 book the month it was released. Like, they put a big asterisk on that because that is not a normal sale there. Volume 5, Invincible Volume 1, Family Matters, and Volume 4, Invincible Compendium Volume 1. So big ticket item there for the number 4 book of the year. I'm actually surprised those aren't higher. Number 3, Stray Dogs, which I'm surprised that's that high. Number 2 is Something is Killing the Children, Volume 1, and number 1 is Department of Truth, Volume 1. Again, I'm a little surprised by that. I'm maybe just availability of Something is Killing the Children, Volume 1, and Invincible Volume 1 kept those from being the top 2. Because Invincible was definitely in and out of availability in the early part of the year. But Department of Truth is a good seller, but not at the same level as those other books.
Well, I think the other thing too is didn't Something is Killing the Children come out in 2020? The Volume 1?
Yeah. But it's still, dude, Something is Killing the Children is an absolute juggernaut.
I know.
It's like Saga. It's the new Saga. It's selling at the same level. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. But if Volume 1 came out in 2020, that's going to be the high selling for that one. Whereas Department of Truth came out in 2021, that one might be.
I don't even know, man. I mean, I could talk for us, but we're selling more Something Volume 1s now than we were when it came out. Like, that book has picked up steam. And again, there were promo deals on Image books through the year. It's possible because they did like a buy one get one deal on a bunch of Image titles, so it's very possible they are counting that double, because that would have I do not quote me on this, but I believe would have qualified on the last Image sale. So they may have kind of goosed those numbers a little bit. It's still a big book. Number 1, I don't know. But yeah. So I kind of
Something is Killing the Children came out in May of 2020, and Department of Truth is March of 2021.
Yeah. Berserker was returnable, but there's supposed to be an asterisk on returnable books, but there's no asterisk on this chart, so I'm wondering if that was a mistake, because it definitely was returnable. So, yeah. I don't know. That's a cool list, though. Most of those all make sense for the most part.
Yeah.
There's nothing in there that I think is like, except for Deadpool. There's nothing in that list that I think is like, that's weird. It doesn't make any sense. It all makes sense. I'm actually surprised X-Men's as low as it is. I thought that had a higher launch. Moon Knight number 1 was a big book, still big. Alien number 1's be a little surprised it gets that high, but it's a popular book. I'm sure if it was today, Alien would probably not be on the top 10, but it was definitely a big launch. And all the trades kind of make sense. I'm not sure that I would that anything else would really jump out at me that needs to go in there. Yeah, but it's they'll I'm sure we'll get more info as time goes on. The top IDW book of 2021 was TMNT Last Ronin #2. That was the number 26 title. Dynamite's top book was Vampirella #25, which was the 213th title. And Master of the Universe Revelation #1 was Dark Horse's top book of the year at the number 273 spot. And I think that kind of rounds out the top vendors for Diamond. So yeah, interesting list. We're gonna get more of these as time goes on.
Well, you've given me a perfect segue, Ryan.
Yes, hit me. I want to hear it.
So, because the listeners might at this point be up to their eyeballs with sales charts, we're going to keep this to 5 minutes, and I'm going to give you guys a guessing game. I went back on Comicron 55 years to the top selling comics of 1967.
Ooh, 67. You just picked a random year because he's been filling in those older years, right?
I've been filling them in, yeah. So I just tried to pick a number that was like an anniversary, like 55 seemed good enough. So, okay, these are publisher statement of ownership is how Comicron's measuring. So this is the average monthly circulation of the books.
Yep. Now, if you're an old school comic fan, you'll remember these would run in the comic itself. Yeah. It was something they had to do for the post office.
I believe so. Yeah,
it was.
Yeah.
And they would report the average monthly sale of a title through a given year, basically to for whatever reasoning they needed to do this for magazines.
Yeah. Average per monthly copies. Okay, so I have the top 20, but we'll just do the top 10. So Brock,
67.
Put a guess on.
I mean, X-Men's on there?
No.
Oh no, that's before. So it'd be no.
No, I mean it'd be there.
But at this time, I think they started in 63, but they're not on the top 20.
I mean, it's not all Marvel. There's going to be some other stuff. I mean, FF has to be on there. FF was a big book.
Fantastic Four is number 17 of the top 20 with 329,000 monthly copies.
Okay. I would assume Spider-Man was on there too.
Spider-Man is the first Marvel book on the list at number 14.
Okay.
Batman's
number 1, Brock.
That's
average monthly circulation 800,000 copies.
we are in
Adam West territory.
Adam
right?
West time. Yep. Yes. Yeah. So clearly Batman.
Okay.
Yeah, but
so Batman's number 1.
Was Bat Family going on at that time?
I mean,
Batman Family? Yeah. That's a 70s book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't think like Action and Superman and Detective. Were they that high?
Superman is number 2 at 649,000.
Really?
Wonder
so
Woman?
Just think about the difference between 1 and 2 is 150,000 copies a month. Batman is that much higher.
I thought by that point, but I mean, I guess circulation is not necessarily sales.
Well, it's not units sold. It's how many
It's units going to newsstands.
Yeah, newsstands and stuff like that. So, National Periodics may have just been pushing more copies.
Here's a hint for you guys, just so we don't.
But there's going to be
I will tell
some westerns. There's going to be some Dell stuff in there.
There's some romance books on there.
But here's a hint. In the top 10, there is one comic that's not DC.
No,
one single title that is not DC.
Is it a gold
It's like Ryan's dream year.
It's what?
It's Ryan's dream year. It's all DC, baby. The first Marvel that cracks the list is 14.
See, it's 67. That's actually surprising because I seem
Is it a gold key book?
It is not a gold key book. Gold key is in the second half.
Yeah.
I'm
surprised if it's not a like a kid's book or like a Disney thing. Although 67, that might be a little late for those to be as popular as they are.
It is the number 5 comic of the year, and the title is Archie.
Oh yeah,
just the main
Archie book.
Okay.
485,000 monthly copies.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the top 10. I said we'd keep it to 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the top 10. Batman, Superman, Superboy, World's Finest, Archie. Here's the surprising part. Jimmy Olsen. Lois Lane is number 7, above Detective, above Action, and above Adventure. That's the top 10 for 67.
Wow. And Marvel doesn't even hit with Amazing Spider-Man until 14.
14. So here's the bottom half. Number 11 is The Man from U.N.C.L.E. That's Gold Key. Justice League. Tarzan, also Gold Key. Then Spider-Man. Betty and Veronica is number 15. Brave and the Bold is 16. FF you guys got. Walt Disney Comics and Stories is 18.
Yeah, I figured that was on
Dennis the Menace is 19. And the dark horse that I almost would have offered a prize if anybody guessed this is a comic called Treasure Chest, published by the Catholic Guild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At 300,000 monthly copies.
Is that the Spire?
Yeah, I believe that is that.
Is that part of that same line?
I believe that is part of the same line, yeah. So there is the top 20 of 67.
Man, to be Ryan Higgins during that era.
Yeah.
All that DC. Oh.
Well, that's funny. I wonder, maybe it was late 60s, maybe it was past that. Maybe it was once the 70s hit, the DC sales are really tanked. I guess they were kind of riding on Batmania at this point, so maybe that was really pushing those numbers up. I wonder if
probably because Marvel was so new at this point that the newsstand people ordering recognized Superman and World's Finest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they just didn't have the. Well, it is funny that Batman and Superman are so much higher than Action Comics and Detective Comics, right? I mean, just that name brand. I bet if you go to like 71, 72, it's a bit of a different
I bet it is.
You go 5 years ahead. It's I think once Batman stuff crashed, I think DC crashed pretty hard.
Well, I think we've talked about this point before on here. Is that at that time another thing with the newsstand is a number 1 issue is less valuable in their eyes than a number 300, because a 300 means there's a track record, and a 1 could arrive and fold a month later.
Yep.
Yeah. I love sales chart stuff. I find this stuff so fascinating. And I mean, again, even today, we don't have sales numbers the way we do for like, BookScan and other things like that, which represent a big chunk of the industry. These are copies out. They may have sent out 800,000 copies of Batman, but they may have returned 500,000. Right. Those are the things we just don't really have answers to. I think you could. They will order the newsstands were not stocking this stuff for no reason. If when the numbers drop, the orders drop. It's just you may lag by a few months, but it's not like if these numbers are selling for 10, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. Those numbers are real. They're not putting this stuff out there for nothing. Yeah. I love that.
I just couldn't believe if you had told me rank the sales of these 3 titles in order: Amazing Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, and Lois Lane. Lois Lane is like 100,000 more copies than those other 2.
I mean, it makes sense. Is that the highest selling girl comic?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
unless you count Archie, but I mean, Betty and Veronica is more than
Betty
girl.
Veronica.
Yeah.
Sure, but I mean that does not. I mean, name other than maybe Betty and Veronica at the time, name a more popular female character in comics than Lois Lane. There probably wasn't one, right?
Wonder Woman.
I mean, those books didn't run 160 whatever issues for no reason, right? They were hits. Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane were hit books,
and I don't even know if Wonder Woman was being published at this time. I don't know if it had. I mean, it's being published. I mean, I don't know if it would have cracked.
It never stopped, but it's I don't think sales were.
No, yeah.
Again, a couple of years later, when the show was out, different story probably. I don't think. I don't think at that point Wonder Woman was very popular. Yeah, fascinating. I love that stuff. God, I love sales charts.
Nerd.
Hell yeah, nerd.
Well, the sad part is you love sales charts, but the sales charts that you're looking at aren't complete sales charts. They're like, we're hiding real information from you. It's like a tease.
We'll never have real sales charts. We just won't, because it just doesn't work that way. I have my sales charts. I know what we sell at the store. That's it. That's all I know. Some sad news. Feels like a week does not go by in this goddamn podcast where we're talking about someone dying. Brian Augustyn, who was a longtime comic book writer and editor, passed away at the age of 67. Longtime collaborator with Mark Waid. Worked with him, editor of the Flash comic in the 90s, as well as co-writing the book. More than likely, most people would recognize him from being the writer of Gotham by Gaslight, the 89 one-shot Elseworld special by Mike Mignola and Pete Russell, which obviously now has been adapted into animated movie and very, very popular. And correct me if I'm wrong. The first Elseworld comic, I'm pretty sure. Gotham by Gaslight. I believe that is the first time it was actually the Elseworlds idea came from that book. So he worked at Archie. He worked, especially DC through the 80s and 90s. But very sad. He did a lot of really good stuff. Mark Waid's Flash is widely considered one of the best runs on the title, and very influential for just the character for today and what modern creators, especially guys like Jeff Johns, to do with the character. Obviously introducing Impulse and kind of the whole Flash family really comes from that run. I think the vast majority of what Flash fans like from the Flash comes from that era. Max Mercury, Jesse Quick, all those characters coming back. So yeah, very sad. 67's too young. I'm not sure what he's done recently. I don't know if he was still working in comics very much, but also Kevin, we were talking about this, right? He did co-write Justice League Year One, and the Life Story of the Flash with Mark Waid as well, which are both fantastic works. I think the Life Story of the Flash is out of print. That's a great book.
I was just going to ask you that. That's for those who don't know it. That's a standalone hardcover, right?
Yep. I actually, it's funny because I was I have they did like one of those DC reprint like $6.99 books a number of years ago, and that was one of the ones they did. But I actually I've been going through and doing my inventory on my comic collection, and when I got to Flash, I was like, nope, add the hardcover to the want list. I actually owned it in hardcover. I only owned like the later like reprint edition. I read it years ago when Flash was coming out. But that's a cool. It's like the biography of the Flash written like in the future. So it's the history of the Flash. It's a cool title. And Justice League Year One is great too. That's a great. Although that they've kind of retconned around that these days.
No.
But at the time, it was a cool. It was a cool kind of retelling of the early years of Justice League.
That's where they had to. That's where they had to go back and retell it with Black Canary.
Yeah, they put him. They took out Superman, Batman, or they took out Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
put in Black Canary, and Superman and Batman are like they show up, but it's not. But yeah, they're not. I mean, they weren't regular members of the Justice League when it started anyway. That first run, in those first issues. Yeah, very sad. Very sad. Yep. Obviously, a lot of people. Mark Waid's worked with quite a few good people through the years, so it's.
Yeah, I have that he did that Crimson with Roberto Ramos that I had bound.
Sorry, yes, I forgot to mention that. One of the other big books he did was he was the writer with Humberto Ramos on Crimson for one of the Image imprints, and I that really was the book that shot Humberto Ramos to into the stratosphere. Like his art on that book. It was like a vampire kind of adventure.
It was a vampire
fantasy
thing,
book.
Yeah.
But very, very, very fun book.
Push goth definitely to the limit.
That 90s like metal goth stuff. For all you digital comic fans, we used to have our. Actually, it's funny. I got someone that was listening to the podcast. They were listening to old episodes. And they were like, "Oh, you guys have a ComiXology storefront? Like, how do we buy from that? The link doesn't work anymore." I'm like, "Yeah, no, that's gone for years at this point." Yeah. So what this is so long ago at this point, I'm sure it doesn't matter. What I was basically told, first of all, was that we were one of the only stores that really sold anything on it. So
yeah, I don't doubt that. Like,
Yeah, yeah. And what's happening now was supposed to happen years ago. The reason they shut down the retailer forum or the retailer storefront was ComiXology was going to get sucked into Amazon proper, not a separate storefront, not a separate thing. And it was supposed to happen very fast. That was years ago at this point.
Yeah.
So it obviously took quite some time for this to really happen. But Amazon will be ComiXology will be basically a tab in Amazon's website now, and
the app still works.
Yeah, it'll probably be rebranded as ComiXology Amazon or whatever, right? I'm sure they'll.
But you can still get stuff through the app. This isn't the app's going away.
Yeah, no. The app's still there, but the
web version,
the web version will put you on Amazon's comic storefront page, which will basically give you access to purchase them physically or digitally in a similar fashion to how Amazon works. For you could buy Kindle and you can buy the digital versions of books and movies as well as physical, all through kind of the same link. So it obviously makes sense. I just think it's really funny that it took them, really. I mean, what was that, 4 years ago? 5 years ago? It's been a long time. It's been a very long time when they dropped that from us, which is really unfortunate. So, but if you're a ComiXology guy, some changes coming. I'm sure you already saw this, but digital comics. I get asked all the time.
January of 2018.
Is that
when they were going to close the digital retailer storefront?
Yeah, still.
Yeah, this is an article from January 6th of 2018.
Well, it took them a while. They got it. 4 years. Good job, man. Good job. I could have been making money that whole time. And finally, for comic news, we got.
This is big. This is ginormous stuff. This is stuff that's going to make or break things. I think it's going to break.
Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Coming out of Free Comic Day, it's the next big Marvel event.
Did you get those orders yet?
Marvel. Dude, I have to do Free Comic Day orders tomorrow, and I have no idea what to do.
Are we doing it this year?
I have no idea. Can I give you
a incentive?
I have 23 hours to figure this out.
Well, I'm going to give you either this is an incentive or a disincentive. Hattie's birthday is Free Comic Day this year, and she wants to have a birthday party in Livermore with Grandpa and Uncle Jared. So I'm most likely going to be gone.
Okay.
So I don't know if that sways your decision or not.
Like I said, yeah, I don't know what the hell we're going to do this year. I just don't know.
You want people coming in. You want people herding together. You want the masses there.
Well, that's the problem, right?
You can set them up out in your tent.
And you have to, right?
Yeah.
But we would have to just severely limit the amount of people in store still. We'll have 10 people in the store on a regular day anyway these days, and that's fine. But we can't have Free Comic Book Day levels of people in the store. I can't have 40 or 50 people in the store. It's just not built for that. I'll make a decision this. I'll make a decision this week. This week. Tomorrow. Like I said, I have
just sleep on it and dream some about all the Free Comic Book Day books.
Jeez,
all those gold level and bronze level and silver level and platinum level and kryptonite level and I don't know. I'm running out of levels.
Anyway, if you're excited, there's a bunch of Free Comic Book Day stuff coming up, and one of the ones you can pick up is Avengers X-Men. But really, we know what the real thing is here. The comic is called Judgment Day, and it's an X-Men versus the Eternals event.
Because
really trying to make those Eternals count.
You got to give the tagline. You got to give the tagline.
Judgment is coming.
Yeah, but why? Why is Judgment coming?
Well, what's the plot of it?
Yeah, remember that Deviant line?
Oh, I don't have any of that in front of me here. Well, no, the plot of the story is that the Eternals are like, oops, I guess all the mutants are also deviants for some reason now. So, I mean, cool. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, a little of this is just Eternals, man. Remember when the Inhumans were like, God, we gotta make the Inhumans a thing. We gotta make the Inhumans a thing. And then they're finally like, we've given up. Nobody cares about the Inhumans. Now let's turn to the Eternals. Can we make the Eternals matter? Not gonna happen, Marvel. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just not gonna happen.
The funny thing is they brand it Avengers X-Men because they know that's going to sell.
Oh, right. That's what I mean. Yeah, I mean it's Eternals. It's Eternals versus
right,
X-Men.
but it's the Eternals or what's the X-Men? The mutants are deviants now. Like
yeah. It's I'm not.
I saw whatever like blurb was like the tease phrase for this before they announced it, and I'm just like, oh, they're doing it again. They're going to try and force Eternals on everybody, and people are going to hate it.
Look, I mean, I got no problem with them doing stuff with Eternals, but it's
how is that current series selling?
It's fine. It's fine. I don't know what their sales chart numbers are. I don't think it's anywhere near the top. I just do enough people care. Karen Gillan's a good writer, and I'm sure he's getting people interested. But like, yeah, I've not read any of it myself, so I just like we talked about on the podcast, like we talked about in previous episodes. Shoving the Eternals into like the main Marvel universe, it just never really fit very well, and so like. I almost just keep these like kind of like what they do with like Squadron Supreme, like the J. Michael Straczynski stuff, where they sort of just kept it its own little bubble and its own little thing.
Totally agree.
Just do that with the Eternals, make it its own little Earth, and they go crazy.
Every time there's a big event, they always try and shove the squadron back in.
They bring the Squadron Supreme in occasionally, but they're not like they never tried to make that series like part of the Marvel universe or
Secret Wars is out, so we're gonna have Secret Wars Squadron Supreme, and then we're gonna try and have a series come out after that, and everyone's just like, no, nobody cares.
Yeah, they have. I mean, wait, right? The Squadron Supreme, it does show up regularly in the traditional comic books, but not as like an ongoing comic presence that's like a regular thing. They just will pop up occasionally. I think the Eternals
they're so
is more
desperately
suited.
trying to be the Prime Society.
Well, I mean, that's what it is.
I know.
It's their version of the
Earth 2.
JLA. Yeah.
Sorry, Crime Syndicate, Crime Society.
Well, what's DC's version? What do they call them?
The Crime Syndicate.
No, because the Squadron Supreme's the Justice League, right? They're like, God, Kevin.
What are you trying to think of?
DC's got the version of the Avengers, and they were in one of the recent books too, and I'm just blanking on what they call them. They call them something funky. But Squadron Supreme's more interesting.
Oh, are you talking about the ones that were in the Justice Incarnate?
Yeah. I forget what they called.
Hold on.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Not important. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. The Free Comic Day stuff always tends to be pretty big, and we haven't had like a kind of bigger event in a while from Marvel.
Wait. Okay, hold on. Are you talking about and I may be getting this name totally wrong, Brock, if you're looking this up, jump in.
Yeah.
Is this called the Champions of...
Angor?
Angor.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. I just couldn't remember how it was something of something, and I just couldn't...
Their planet is called Angor or Ankor or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's got the Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, right? And there's an Aboriginal version of Thor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
that's
Captain America-ish kind of dude. Yeah. They pull those guys from time to time, but obviously Marvel's in a lot more of Squadron Supreme. I should do a Squadron Supreme in the Boys crossover. That'd be fun.
I'm throwing the Crime Syndicate too. Have it 3 Earths. Have the fight like spilling over.
No. I don't need Herogasm like in different universes. I just don't. It was.
I mean, they would never do that, obviously, but it would
was
be
bad
fun.
to begin with.
yeah, so we'll see. We got a lot of Free Comic Day stuff coming up. We'll see what comes out of this event. But yeah, Marvel hasn't legitimately done one of these, like, they've done both Marvel and DC have done the smaller kind of family events. War of the Realms was the last one that crossed over into a bunch of books. Was there something more recent
with Marvel?
Yeah,
I mean, Marvel's just done a whole bunch of like family stuff that ties into some random stuff outside of it. So
Empire crossed into a couple things, but it
like
wasn't.
Devil's Reign crossed into a couple things.
Yeah, but those have mostly been like their own. Yeah, they've mostly been their own like little miniseries. I think this is going to run through like most of the main.
The last large one was Secret Wars, wasn't it?
The last like kind of line wide one was Secret Wars. Really, Marvel and DC have not done the line wide crossover in like kind of close to a decade at this point, or even longer. I mean, they don't really do that as much anymore. Secret Wars was what, 2014, 2015, and that affected pretty much every Marvel book. Secret Wars or Civil War 2 crossed over into a lot of books, but really they haven't done anything.
Was Secret Wars.
Yeah, they haven't done anything real recent.
Like Death Metal was the big kind of book, but it wasn't like
none of that stuff. Even like Forever Evil, none of those books crossed over like line wide. They really don't do that anymore.
Well, so DC did DC has been doing the New 52, and then they did Rebirth. Those were kind of their big.
Yeah, but that's not like the crossover event.
No, it was a shift in the publication, but it wasn't an event.
Yeah, maybe the closest you'll call with DC is Convergence, but that was
that was a Band-Aid thing for the handful of months that they needed to move from New York to LA.
Sure, technically it was an event book with every single title involved in it, but they were replaced by other books. So Convergence is as close as we've gotten, but it is really a separate thing. I don't know. I don't mind if Marvel or DC want to do a big line wide crossover, because they really haven't in a while. It might be kind of fun, but they were just cranking them out too long or too often.
It was too much. It was like one a year, and it was creators didn't really get a chance to like work on the books without having, hey, let's shove this thing in here.
Yeah. They it's been a lot. We've got one random movie news. Nothing to really say about this, but it is interesting, and we'll see what ends up happening with this. Dakota Johnson, actress, is been cast, according to The Hollywood Reporter, as Madam Webb, one of the random characters in the Spider-Man universe that has been rumored to have a movie based on. Now, the thing with Madam Web, there was the normal version of Madam Web that most people think about, which is kind of the old lady in like the web thing and blind, and she's she can like see into like the future and see into like the Spider-Verse, if you will, right? But I completely forgot that they made Julia Carpenter the new Madam Web. I completely forgot this happened, and so Julia Carpenter was the second Spider-Woman, the not the original one, but the one that came later. So I would think likely it's going to be that version. Not that I have anything against elderly woman superhero. That may be kind of cool, but I just don't think they're going to do that. So we're kind of getting a Madam Web movie, which is really fucking weird. But I feels like it's going to be kind of like a backdoor like Spider-Woman movie, which I'm kind of cool with. So remember the Morbius movie still happening, guys? It's still on the schedule. It got pushed back again, but it's actually happening. So we'll see if maybe they tease Madam Web at the end of Morbius. Maybe that's why they pushed it back to put her in the post-credit scenes or something like that. Yeah, boy, God, that Morbius movie. What is more damned, that or New Mutants? I feel like it's the same level. Are we on our 8th Is this the 8th release date for 7th or 8th for Morbius? And New Mutants had at least the same amount of pushbacks, right? Yeah.
Well, let's hope the story ends happier for Morbius, and you see it and go, "Wow, that was really cool."
That was fantastical.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a ton of hope for that to happen.
No,
but
I don't either. But
stranger things have happened.
Don't you sit down to watch everything hoping it's going to be an A+? I do.
Yeah, of course, of course. And I did not hate New Mutants. I thought it was
I need to watch
totally okay. Kevin's biting his tongue.
Yeah. If I have nothing nice to say, I'll try not to say anything.
Yeah, no, I did not hate it. See, here's the thing. There are so many bad X-Men movies that I put New Mutants like pretty much in the middle, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
was New Mutants better than
X-Men it's in the middle
3?
of the X-Men canon. Yes.
Oh, it's better. It's better than X-Men 3. It's better than Dark Phoenix. I think it's better than Age of Apocalypse. Yeah, it's better than Wolverine Origins. Yeah, it is. It is.
Yes, Ryan. I'd rather have a mild case of herpes than full-blown syphilis. Yes. I don't disagree with you.
There is quite a bit of a drop-off, but it is far from the worst X-Men movie.
From syphilis and herpes, or are you talking about the movies?
So we'll see if Madam Web actually ends up happening. But it sounds like it is. We got a couple questions.
Better get ready to order your Batman tickets.
Does those go on sale yet? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing for Batman. I did not realize I still have like 8 credits with the movie with Cinemark Movie Club, because they just kept that. They just didn't charge people, but they gave.
Yeah.
I had a couple tickets from like December, January, February for the movie club, and then I think they kept it rolling, but either refunded or didn't charge me. So I have like 6 or 7 ticket credits. So I'm like, maybe I'll use one of those for Batman.
I got a ticket to use because they didn't send me to Eternals, so I got something to go to anything. So
yeah.
I'm like,
talk about cursed movie viewing. Yeah, just
I'm like, and for me, it's like apparently it doesn't matter to me now.
Yeah. Batman tickets Thursday?
I think it's the 10th. Yeah,
10th. Okay. Yeah. I'll have to make a decision. I really don't care. I mean, I want to see Batman. I totally want to see Batman, but it's like,
I'm there for all the Bat-Cat stuff that seems to be in it. So,
well, we do have. I got a couple of questions from Patreon, but we have a related question from Twitter. So let's answer this first. Were you guys beating the Batman pizza from Little Caesars?
So,
of course, the most important question of the day.
My kids.
That's really a question for former guest Matt Singer and his eating all the movie tie-in products.
Yeah. My kids actually purchased this past week, and they tried to get Ryan one, but Ryan doesn't eat meat. And they don't. They don't make a meatless version of it.
As far as I know, yes, the bat symbol shaped pizza from Little Caesars only comes with pepperoni. Although maybe you can ask it without. I don't know how they do this. So maybe I'll see if I can get a cheese version. But I will 100% eat a Batman pizza as long as I can get it without pepperoni on it. Sure, of course.
My kids ate it. I have
yet.
the leftovers in the fridge.
I have not as of yet.
Speaking as someone who once manned the pizza oven at Chuck E. Cheese, I can tell you that the pepperoni goes on after the cheese. So if you just request one with no pepperoni, it'll be no problem.
But I also I am 99% confident that these are shipped from a warehouse in a bag with the pepperoni already glued on. So, like, I'm
frozen.
Pretty
sure they're not doing it.
You don't think that the Little Caesar employee is hand carving out the bat symbol with a little
they get a big bat symbol, cookie cutter, right? So,
and then all the spare pieces go into the crazy bread bag. All the edges.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll do some research for you non-meat eaters out there, and I'll see if I can get a meatless Batman pizza.
You can't get the meatless one completely. So,
Leanne's looking right now. Leanne's going to look.
Wait a minute. So. Here's a question for you guys, since I can't ask the person who asked this question. When is the last time anyone on this podcast ate Little Caesars?
I used to get their crazy bread all the time.
Oh,
their
the crazy bread's
fucking
good.
delicious.
Yeah.
When they started doing like the $5 cheese, like you just walk in, here you go, out of the refrigerator.
Yep.
Like I got them a couple times. It has been a while though.
Yeah.
It has been a while.
Remember, even on this podcast, Little Caesars was sometimes the pizza we ate.
Oh yeah. We'd occasionally get it. Yeah, when we were doing
we would normally
recordings
get
in person.
The mountain bikes across the street.
Oh, that was good.
No,
that was
Jake's.
Remember
Jake's.
Jake's.
Yeah, not Mountain Mike's.
Yeah,
It's the same
good.
kind,
Yeah.
Jake's is fucking delicious.
Yes.
I could order Jake's again. They're still there as far as
Yeah,
I know.
they're there. Yeah.
What's that? Oh, Leanne is sending me a link. Let's see. Let's see. Can I get Batman Little Caesars? So they have they do have the Batman calzone cheese version. So it is 8 slice
So you
large
need
pizza.
You need a TikTok that you buy it, TikTok that you eat it, and yeah, just jump on the
8
craze.
slices large cheese pizza with Parmesan and buttery tasting calzone-like crust filled with garlic, white sauce, and cheese and crazy sauce. $7.99, 2,270 calories.
I was going to say only the finest ingredients at those prices.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
It
legitimately
looks like they just cut into the pizza and fold over like
they just
4
cut
pieces
out of it.
like,
I don't know how much sodium you're supposed to have in a day, but this has 4,670 milligrams of sodium, which I'm going to guess is more.
That's probably like a week's worth. Yeah,
more than you should have in a day. That said, for this podcast, I will 100% buy
for this podcast.
Batman.
What are you talking about? It's DC. It's Batman.
Well, pizza.
Wait. Are you committing? You're going to buy it and eat the whole thing?
I don't know if it's the thing, but I will 100% buy the cheese version of the Batman pizza. Yes, 100%.
Your lips are going to shrivel. Your lips are going to shrivel from that sodium if you eat that whole thing in one go.
Again, what Brock said, Batman in DC is good. Pizza is the thing. I fucking love pizza. More than most things. Pizza's amazing.
Right, hold on.
I will 100% eat.
I want to finish something. Give you a choice: cereal or pizza.
Oh, pizza. I love cereal, but pizza.
You like Wheel of Death. That's
probably the perfect food. Pizza is the perfect food. I could have pizza every single meal. It's so fucking good. I shouldn't, and I don't, thank God. But I would 100% eat pizza every single meal if I possibly could. Dude, it's cheese and bread. It's the greatest thing ever.
This segment brought to you by Ryan Higgins, age 13.
Yeah,
I love cereal and pizza.
It's still the same.
I play video games. I eat cereal and pizza.
100%. Yeah, the Batman
pizza for every meal.
The Batman calzone cheese pizza is, of course, going to be the image topic for the image post for this podcast. So I like that it's called calzone cheese, dude. Not even like calzone. They're like, it's not a calzone. Calzone. It's kind of calzone. Good question. Okay, David Baroldi on Patreon asks, I want to get into Sandman.
Just read
one of the best editions to get, excluding the absolutes and omnibuses. Which actually would not be the way. Would not be the ones I would have recommended anyway.
No.
You have 4 versions of Sandman you could buy. Today or soon. There is the standard 10 trade paperbacks plus the extended additional material. There is the 5 oversized hardcovers, which are a more recent release. Again, and they have extended. I assume there will be more.
There's going to be a 6th one because I don't think all of the extended was in the last one.
Yeah, 5 goes through 75 in the special. Yeah, they are coming out with 4 soft covers. I have to assume that means 5 soft covers. There's going to be basically soft cover editions of the hard covers, some variation of, and there's also the annotated Sandman, which is the book with all the annotations. I personally don't really like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Not for a new reader, especially. No. Skip that.
But those are, I believe, coming back in print, or some of them are already back in print.
Now, for those that don't know, the collected versions of Sandman aren't actually in complete chronological order. They skip around.
The trade paperbacks.
The trade paperbacks skip around a little with when stuff is put into them. So if you read it, like let's say you want to read it digitally and you just go for single issue digitally, reading it straight through is not the same as reading it through like the softcover or even how they do the Audible ones.
Right. Well, I believe I'm pretty confident the hardcovers are just straight through. I'm actually looking it up right now. Yeah, because the hardcovers just go.
No, I thought I thought they reduced them.
Maybe the hardcovers actually do have them in the same way they collect the soft covers. I have to look into this. Well, anyway, because what they do in the soft covers is they basically take a bunch of the one-shots, the one-shot story arcs that sort of are in between stories, and they put them into like one book.
Yeah.
This does not really those you can kind of be read in any order. Sandman Deluxe hardcover volume 2 has Sandman Special, Winter's Edge, Vertigo preview, blah blah blah, other stuff from it. So I have not heard any complaints about the order of the hardcover. The hardcovers also do include stuff that's not in the soft covers. Sandman Midnight Theater is in volume 1 of the hardcover, which is not in the soft covers. So currently, I believe I would go for the 5 hardcovers, the 5 standard edition hardcovers, or deluxe hardcovers. I mean, they are a $50 a piece. They're roughly 2 plus trades in each hardcover. They're 2 trades plus additional material, or 3 trades plus a little bit of additional material.
So like the first one, that one, it goes to 20, right?
Volume 1 is 1 through 16 plus Sandman Midnight Theater,
okay,
which is one of my favorite comics.
Oh yeah,
it's so good.
That's volume 1 and 2, and then that extra little bit.
Right. So yeah, that's what I was looking up, because volume 2, I just had it here. Hold on.
Volume 2 should have Dream Country and Season of Mists.
Well, these things are all fucking out of order here. Hold on. Come on. Okay, alphabetical. Let's scroll. Yeah, Deluxe Volume 2 is 17 through 31. Sandman Special, Virgo, Winter's Edge, Fall Preview, blah blah blah. Yeah, Book 3 has volumes 5, 6, and 7 in, which is 32 through 50, which have some of the one shots. So it has Brief Lives, Game of You, and then
Fables and Reflections.
Fables
and Reflections is like the one shot stuff.
Right. Yes. Volume 4 is 51 through 69, as well as Vertigo Jam. And volume 5 is 70 through 75. Oh, sorry. It actually has Endless Nights. It has both editions of Endless Nights. It has Endless Nights and both editions of Dream Hunters are in book 5. So that might actually be it. Well, there's
Overture, there's
and Death, and all
Death,
the additional stuff.
And there's a couple.
Those 5 will have everything. Yep, that will have everything up till Sandman Overture, which is the more recent miniseries with J.H. Williams, which is incredible as well, but that will be its own separate book.
Yeah, I need to pick up that Absolute that we have.
Get those hardcovers. Those are really good collections. Yep.
The cover art
the caveat for a new reader is that, and you'll have the advantage here, because what I found in the past is with people who got the trades, they would read that first trade and go, I don't like horror comics. Because that first trade is a horror comic, and the rest of the series is not.
My recommendation always, when I recommend this to people at the store, and I know I've said this on the podcast too, is read the first 2 volumes, or in this case, read the hardcover.
Yeah.
If you love the first volume and do not like the second volume, you can kind of stop because the rest of the series is more like the second volume. Not 100%, but the first volume is much more horror and dark and also DC connected.
Yep.
Yeah.
The later volumes go, and there's still, you have all the Corinthian stuff, you have the serial convention, you have a lot of, there's horror elements through the whole series, but you get more of the fantasy stuff. You get, and then there's the Sandman stuff and Gloop and Brute and Glob.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously.
Well, Kindly Ones kind of comes back to that horror, but it's more at that point like witchcraft horror and.
Yeah. If you love both, then keep going because you're going to get a mix of all of this. But I have definitely had people that liked the first volume and didn't like the second, and wanted something a little bit more horror. And it's not.
But the thing with Sandman is it has so much in it. It's not just one thing. Like I mean, there's the Ramadan issue, which is fantastic. There's the 2 issues.
Don't spoil it for the new readers.
I'm just saying what the topic is.
I thought you were going to go into like storylines.
No. There's the 2 issues that deal with A Midsummer Night's Dream. You have there's a lot of good solid content in it that's not just horror-ish or DC connected, even though the Wake kind of brings it back to that. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, they're always going to have horror and there's more horror elements to that stuff, but for the most part there's.
And I think it's funny we call it horror, but in context of what we're talking about, we should just be calling it nightmare. Right? Like it's the opposite it's the other side of dreams. It's the nightmares. Right.
Definitely read Sandman. He also says, for our talk last week about recommendations for single volumes of X-Men, it says God Loves Man Kills is a relatively self-contained X-Men story, and they have collected that a number of times in soft covers. I'm actually going to disagree with his next comment here, but that's okay. He says, you should also check out X-Men Grand Design, which is a fun take on the entire history of the X-Men by Ed Piskor. Boy, would I not recommend that book to anyone, period, but also especially not to someone who's trying to get into the X-Men. Look, I do not like it. He has his fans. I completely am totally fine.
You sold plenty of them.
It's all okay. The Grand Design stuff to me is it's pretty unreadable. I think I do not like the they're basically trying to jam 50 years of story into like a 4-issue book, and I'm just not a fan of the format. I don't think it's good for new readers at all. I think if you're a classic fan, I think if you used to like comics and now you're like a super indie guy, these are probably great for you. But I would not recommend them to any normal comic book fan, and I would not recommend it to anyone who's just trying to check the books out because I think they'd be incomprehensible. I just don't know what you get out of this. And they're doing the Hulk book that's coming out. Look, I got no problem with it. I am amazed that Marvel is putting these books out. They're like the most un-Marvel book I've ever seen in my entire life. I just do not recommend them for this particular situation. We definitely have fans, but I would not recommend this.
Yeah.
Personally, but someone else may find I just don't know what a new reader to X-Men would get out of that book. I think it'd be pretty incomprehensible.
Wait, there was a question last week for best or recommended single volume X-Men books.
Yeah, well, we're talking about X-Men and Spider-Man. They were newer to the Marvel books, and mostly new.
Right.
Yeah, mostly new from the movies. So, I would think. I think God Loves Man Kills is it's part of the Claremont era. So I think if you're reading that stuff, you'd get to that graphic novel anyway. I would. I would be very interested to hear from someone who's like not really an X-Men fan. If you read Grand Design, what did you think of it? If you're like not an X-Men person, like, and you know, like if you don't know the history of the characters, because I don't know what you take away from it. I think it's not written for. It's kind of a weird book that I don't know who the audience for that book is, because I think the indie people wouldn't like it because it's an X-Men book, and the X-Men people wouldn't like it because it's an indie book. So I sort of like, but again, I'm happy they're making it. It's so unlikely. Yeah, it's a unique one, that's for sure.
It's no other history of the DC universe.
Well, that's a little bit more the text with prose with pictures and.
But like I could hand that to somebody who doesn't know much about those characters, and they would get something of a backstory from that, and
I think
a little understanding of the character. With it, I mean, the format's not as comic book.
The history. Yeah, but the other history is not trying to be some very
stylized. It's not trying to be stylized.
Very stylized, unique.
No.
Kind of indie mashup comic. Yeah, it's a very different thing.
But it's really good.
It's sitting in my big pile of stuff to read. A couple other questions. Joshua, God, man, where's Charlie when you need him? We love these omnibus questions. I'm sure we can answer this though. What's a dream arc or current run or run of comics that hasn't gotten that omnibus treatment yet, but totally deserves it?
Demon Knights.
What's missing from your omnibus shelf? That's a good one. That's not too long. I think that'd fit in a nice omnibus shelf.
Well, I think at this point, like I've gotten enough omnibuses to go, okay, I'm okay with 2-volume omnibus things. Like they're getting to be big.
They're big
and disgusting. And
very big.
I remember when the Thor Walt Simonson, thank you.
Well, Simonson.
When that was the biggest one, right? Like when that one was the largest omnibus on the shelf. Now it's like that's tiny compared to like Final Crisis and 52 and like I'm looking over at Batman and Robin and I'm just like, good God, that thing is huge.
Yeah,
I'm getting mine later this year with Miracle Man. That would have been my answer.
Yeah. So we gotta find someone who will create the replica slipcase or the replica dust jacket that puts Alan Moore's name on it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And then you have the tip-in creator page that puts Alan Moore's name on it, right? Like, so we'll find someone to do that. So you have the actual Miracle Man omnibus, because it's not going to have his name on it.
There is a person who makes really good dust jackets for omnibuses and makes multiple variants per each omnibus online.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
So
I'm ready.
There is a source for this.
I got a Justice League Silver Age Volume 1 that needs to be replaced.
Right.
Yeah. God, one of my guys, he has like the Marvel, the new ones, and it's just that skinny little text.
Yep.
And he's like, why?
Well, I have did I send you the photo of the Uncanny X-Men ones?
Yeah.
Because not only is the text skinny, not only did they add a picture to the bottom, but they added the word "the." So it's like Volume 1, Uncanny X-Men. Volume 3, Uncanny X-Men. Volume 2, The Uncanny X-Men in like 1/4 size.
Yeah. It's just
like two middle fingers.
Yeah. I don't. Both companies, I just kind of shake my head at, and I'm like, whoever made these decisions needs to like seriously just reconsider what they're doing. Like, what are you thinking? God, yeah, what's a good one? I mean, there's a lot of crap that would never get an omnibus.
I mean, I wouldn't mind a
Booster
Gold omnibus for the John stuff, the John's Jurgens stuff.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah, I mean, that'd probably be 2.
Well, if it was 2, I'd be perfectly content. But I'm just saying, like,
because my hope, my serious hope is that DC continues their Silver Age collections, because we've gotten through the majority of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman Golden Age. There's going to be some gaps, so there needs to be at least 1 or 2 more volumes, I think, of Superman and Wonder Woman. But they've started the Silver Age omnibuses are coming, so keep those going, please.
Okay, here's my answer. Wait,
Is it what I'm going to say?
I don't know. Go
One.
first.
On
No,
first.
you go.
One.
You go.
On 3. 1.
No, but
2.
mine is a cheat because it's something that kind of already exists, but it exists wrong.
I think we're on the same page here.
Neil Adams Batman Omnibus with the original art.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yep.
So my wonder is when they do the Neil Adams run in what would just be a Silver Age Omnibus issues, because they'll get to it eventually if they continue them, will they use the original printing, the original coloring?
Well, his stories in his stories in the Brave and Bold Bronze Omni are not the new coloring.
Right. So that's my hope. I hope it's the original editions of...
It's your DC New Hope.
Well, what did they did that with... Like, I know, like, the omnibuses for some of the Marvel stuff have, like, the letter columns. I don't know if the new editions do, but there's differences between, like, the epics and the omnibuses, so they're not, like, perfect one-to-one. There is different stuff in some of them. I just really, really hope that they do not use those recolored versions. Dead Man Omnibus does that have?
Has the recolored, but Green Lantern, Green Arrow has the original coloring.
Has the original? Okay,
because beware Dead Man, beware Batman, GLGA. Okay,
they did the Green Lantern, Green Arrow recoloring was from those single issues, right? When they put those out in, like, a miniseries format. Is that when he recolored that?
You mean the 80s one? Those Baxter paper ones.
Yeah, that's when he
the coloring on those is atrocious.
But so the trades of Green Lantern, Green Arrow are old coloring.
Yes,
and I don't think it got an Omni. It's an absolute.
There is an oversized hardcover because it picks up the issue after the Silver Age Green Lantern Omnibus.
Right there.
Yeah, that's it. But there was an absolute also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just something about like that soft paper.
Yeah,
like it's just so nice.
Yep.
Well, we really went down the rabbit hole there. So yes,
Neil Adams Batman original printing would definitely be high on my list.
And I don't want just his Batman issues because there are so few. I want, like, the Power Records comics that he did. That's Batman. Like, those Neil Adams Omnis have all that stuff in them, but it's all recolored.
So bad.
I had another one. I just can't remember what it was. Shit.
We'll think about it for a second. I got a couple questions from M, and then we're going to wrap up.
From N? Like
here.
The letter M?
M. Letter M. Have you guys been reading Justice League Incarnate? And if so, what are your thoughts? I will preempt this with saying that I'm not going to speak for Brock, but I know we're both in pretty similar situations. We've had a lot of personal stuff going on recently, and our reading has slipped more than I would like. I did read number 1. I have not read the rest of the issues yet, so I'm waiting. I'm just going to burn the room. That is in my stack to read soon because I know big stuff's coming from Justice League 75 and I know there's more coming. So, I have not read. I know number 4 just dropped this week. Yeah, was like kind of the big issue. So, I flipped through all the stuff. I haven't sat down and read it. So,
I've read up till 3.
Oh, so you did read 1, 2, and 3. You just haven't read 4 yet.
Yeah, I just haven't read 4 yet.
Yeah, you're further ahead than I am.
It's interesting. It follows the same thing. Like Infinite Frontier, I was just like, okay,
it's a lot of setup.
Yeah, I feel like we're just it's a setup mini and another setup mini, and then it's yeah.
I don't remember if it was may have even been in this very own podcast. I can't remember where I heard or where I read it, but Williamson was going to do kind of a number of books setting up things to come.
He had mentioned that on the podcast, I believe.
And Infinite Frontier, Justice League Incarnate, and then Superman, and then Justice League 75 feel like 3 projects leading, and they've all said leading to the thing coming. So we're close. We've got to be. It's got to be this summer. That has to be like the big book this summer is whatever the Great Darkness Crisis or whatever the hell is called. Like it's got to be coming because it's I feel like we're so close to it, especially at the Justice League 75. I mean, that's going to be a big deal. I think that's going to be the direct lead in. It feels like it. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, all the bad stuff can happen with the Justice League out of the way.
Well, right. That's the whole idea.
So,
right? Yeah. He also said, what titles from the big two has the cast most interested as far as 2022 goes on? I mean, that is Justice League 75 for me is one of the things I look forward to most. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I really want to know. You think, oh, killing Justice League and whatever. But like, look, these guys aren't stupid. This is not like, we're doing this and then they're dead forever. Goodbye. Like, no, clearly this is something coming up. This is a lead into something, right?
Well, this is to let
they've already said it's a lead into something. So yeah,
this is them attempting to put Aqualad in the spotlight for Aquaman, put Wonder Girl in the spotlight for Wonder Woman.
It might be.
Was it the Fox for Bat? Like, well, he's already been put. He's already been put there, so it's like. That one's a little awkward. But it seems like it's just setting up kind of, I don't know, younger, different versions to kind of modernize the characters in a sense.
Well, maybe. I mean, that's part of 5G and all that. I do not get the feeling we're going that direction. Well, I mean, I don't want to, I mean, Batman spoilers if you want, but we already know who the new Batman is. So,
was the listener's question some big two title you're looking forward to, or event?
Yeah, big two. Just what titles?
Okay, I'll say World's Finest.
Very much looking forward to World's Finest, and that feels like it's going to be kind of separate its own thing.
Perfect.
It's not going to be part of
not
in its own, not connected to the death of Justice League and yada yada yada.
Great.
Nope, just its own book.
The Batman Killing Time. I'm looking forward to that.
That's the new Tom King mini. I mean, I am interested in theory what they're going to do with Miracle Man. I just don't know, right? Like, they're going to do something with him sooner than later because of all the talk in Timeless. But like, if he's hanging out with Spider-Man on a rooftop,
please,
might be a little like I just don't.
Oh, you know what you're going to get? You're going to get those one shots where he visits each of those characters and they go on a team up.
God,
and it'll be something like Timeless Miracles.
Stop! He's already dead.
Yeah.
You'll even get the young or the kid version of it going with Power Pack.
Maybe I was gonna say maybe he'll join the Eternals.
Oh, Hunting Demons! They're gonna be in Judgment Day.
Oh God!
He'll show up at the end of Eternals and be like, "It's me, Miracle Man."
Hi, we're a publishing company.
You know, as much as I was not a fan of Dr. Manhattan going into the DC universe, we'll leave that aside. I am 10,000 times less of a fan of Miracle Man going into the Marvel universe. I just think it's a horrible idea.
I mean, if oddball Miracle Man comes in, fucking wrecks house and goes back to his own dimension, like that could be an okay little side thing.
Just how I don't want him part of the Marvel universe. Right.
Kind of the way Dr. Manhattan did. It was like, okay, that was an interesting little sidestep. That's fun. But then we're back to normal. I don't want him being on like the all new, all different Fantastic Four or something like that. So like Kevin's like,
you're killing me with this crap.
Team up with Wolverine and
you're gonna get the all new, all different Mr. Miracle or not Mr. Miracle, Miracle Man.
Miracle Man. Yeah. Now
2.0.
Now, legitimately.
The Frozen
Mr. Miracle and Miracle Man should team up just so everyone can get this over with and we could just call them one.
Everyone meaning you?
Yes, because no one can ever keep no one. And I mean, when I say no one, I mean no one can keep their name straight. So I can never. I constantly call them the wrong things both ways. Yeah. I mean, we've talked about Substack here regularly, but his final question is: does Image suffer the most from? Oh, well, this actually does go back to the previous question too. But does Image suffer the most from creators taking the Substack route for independent books? Then yeah, probably, sure, of course. But I think Image is going to end up publishing a lot of the print copies of most of these books. But James Tynion's already back, baby. He's doing that Corinthian series for DC, so that didn't last too long. Which that easily is one of my most anticipated books of the year. What the hell did you do with a Corinthian comic book? I am so excited for that. And Tynion's like the perfect guy for that too.
I don't care if he goes to another serial convention at this point. Like, give me more Corinthian.
Yeah. I'm very excited for that book,
like Tom King just recently dropped Substack with the other creator he's working with, that romance stuff, right?
Day one purchase when it comes out in stores.
Yeah, so like,
these will all get printed.
Yeah, it's like Snyder's stuff with ComiXology. I mean, when it comes out physically, I'll read it. Like, it's not something that's driving me to a Substack or driving me to look at something on a digital platform. I'm like, when it's print, I'll read it. Like, I think it's more of trying to hype something up when, I mean, you're hyping it for such a limited audience at that point. It's like, what's the point? Like you said, Tynion's back at DC, going to be doing Corinthian. So
I think, I'm good. The guys got money. Unfortunate they're taking their comics out of the industry, but I'm sure they're just going to sit around and publish them by real publishers. So yeah, I'm excited to see where this stuff goes, and whatever. I got my own problems with it. I just don't want to talk about it. But yeah, Image is kind of one of those companies that are having the, that are going to, get creators will step away from the traditional publishing route. But I don't think it really shouldn't affect sales at all on any of these books. They're going to sell as much physically as they ever would. So
I mean, I just
can't imagine.
I think it's definitely good for the creators in the sense that they can now kind of shop around for publishers at this point, because between Image and Dark Horse and Boom, they have some big independent labels that they can put their books at, and so I think it makes it a little bit better in the long run for them, maybe for contracts and stuff. But
I mean, they're given the money to have a finalized project, but like we said when this all got announced, they have to be the boss now. They have to do everything. It's not, they don't have to just work with random other, a lot of the publishers take care of a lot of the stuff they're not having to do, as well as writing. God, these people are now writing, that they all have to do their promotion regularly, and they're writing newsletters and doing all this behind the scenes stuff. And, they have time for that. They're working their asses off already.
The amount of money they get,
it's
supposed to be, they start that's how they kind of jumpstart their publishing, or imprint.
Creators and publishers are not the same thing. That's a lot of extra work. So, that's it. That is
what? We're not going to talk about the ginormous news that happened to you this past week, Mr. Popular.
I mean, we already did. We talked about all the mouse stuff.
No, but we didn't go into how much has happened since.
I mean, it has expanded. It has calmed in the last couple days, thank God. But yeah, I mean, the mouse thing keeps going. So copies start hitting tomorrow. If you're listening from Tennessee and you emailed me or messaged me on Twitter or something like that, your copies will be shipping soon. So yeah,
as I get those books in my hand, I'm going to start shipping them out.
We sold hundreds of copies at the store for pre-orders, so we're going to have copies coming in for weeks and weeks. I gotta do a count and see how many more copies.
Mouse is going to be the new Detective in Action 1000s, where we just keep randomly getting an issue here or a copy here.
Yeah. I mean, we've sold hundreds of copies, so which is great.
Yeah,
it's great. Fantastic. Yeah, I'm super happy for all the support we received over this, and I mean, hopefully a lot of people end up reading Mouse that haven't read it before. That's great, and we'll see once we start getting those copies out to Tennessee, just getting any feedback from those people. So I'm really curious to see what people think of it. I'm about halfway through. I started rereading it again. I haven't read it since a long time at this point, 20 years. So it's great to actually go back and reread that. Yeah, it is. It's hard. It's a good book.
So I'm reading it for the first time. It's in one of the classrooms that I work in. So it's just kind of easy to grab the issue and just kind of read a couple.
Is it the volume 1 or is it
it's the complete?
The full?
It's the full. So I got about 75 pages in, and it's
not like a super long book.
No, but it's a really kind of it's a from what I've read so far, it's a great history of his father in leading up to it, in kind of his like thought process before that. Like, he was just thinking about relationships and being married and having a kid and like normal stuff that you would be doing as, how I can't remember how old his dad was, but that's what he was doing. And then you kind of like have these things in the background start falling in, like, here's a Nazi flag, or here's like the, stories and stuff. So it's actually pretty interesting to see kind of just the evolution of how this all happened. So I'm excited to get back to it once I can get back to my other job. So
yeah. It's kind of it's a very honest book. So which is always the best kind. It doesn't seem like it's I'm trying to paint his dad in a better light or anything like that.
No, it's an honest, fair portrayal of his father. It's really good. I mean, I just finished rereading Night for one of the classes I'm in, and man, is that one's in your face, but that one's a really, really good one too.
Yeah, I know, but I've never read it. And that's it. We're gonna wrap up now. Thank you all for listening. We'll continue to update if we get more info on, if any new developments with Mouse. Hopefully we ship out and sell a lot of copies. And
we also shipped out all the other banned comics they had on the list, like Watchmen, Why Last Man, V for Vendetta. Like
we sold a lot of stuff over the past week, which is great. Yeah, the support's been amazing. Thank you to our top tier Patreon backers: Joe Duff, Kelsey May, Craig Anderson at ClearPathCoaches.com, Jimmy Rivera at the Social Forum Podcast, and Talon Bray. Thank you all very much for your continued support at ComiXpiracy Podcast. We do appreciate it. Patreon.com/ComicConspiracy is where you can kick us a couple bucks. You can head over to ComiConspiracyPodcast.com, Apple Podcast. Boy, yeah, gotta get on Patreon and delete us off there. Or sorry, Patreon. What am I talking about? Spotify. Sorry, gotta get us off Spotify. Hey, if you are subscribed to Spotify and you want to listen to us on Spotify, you should yell at them and tell them, keep the ComiXpiracy, kick off Joe Rogan, and we'll continue supporting.
No, don't. You don't need to kick him off completely. You just need to go.
Oh, no.
You just need to go. You cut off from now on. You can't do this, and pull off the questionable episodes, because they yanked like 70 episodes.
That would be all of them, and you kick him off the platform, and you deplatform him because he's a fucking scumbag. So end of story. ComicsConspiracy.biz if you want to pre-order one of those copies of Mouse. Probably at this point, if you order it, it's going to be coming end of the month. But we're getting copies. We got so many copies to fill, but more coming. So jump on there. Pick up some other comics too. ConspiratorBrock.com is Brock's blog, pull list unboxing videos. Getting back to that soon once life settles down.
Yeah,
for all of us.
Life's been pretty crazy for me since October, so I'm kind of.
It's been a busy year, and it's only February.
It's the beginning, end of the year, and a busy beginning of the year. So
yeah, it has been. Wanders of the Fourth Dimension podcast is Charlie's Doctor Who podcast. Don't forget to check out the weekly interview series Between the Panels at fanbasepress.com, where Kevin Sharp interviews a bunch of great creators over there. And my wife Leanne has her website at leannehill.com, which is you can find all her art at etsy.com/shop/leannehillart. And don't forget to follow myself on Twitter, Ryan Higgins Ryan. Brock is Brock Sager. Toby is Toby XI. Charlie is Insanity and Chaos. Kevin is That Kevin Sharp. The store is ComicsCon Store, and please give the Geek Box a listen. Every other week we talk about a bunch of nerdy stuff. Oh boy, do I got things to say about Book of Boba Fett this last episode.
I haven't watched it yet.
We'll talk about that on the Geek Box, as well as Manga Machinations, our good friends. Talk about manga and anime over there. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. Goodbye.